Well, here we go. How you doing today, Chris?
Fantastic. How are you, David?
I'm doing awesome. This has just been such a great week. I've been having such a wonderful time in my life, enjoying the new flow of energy.
Well, it's all about Pisces. So no matter where your sun is positioned, if you reference Pisces in your chart, you'll see all kinds of activity. It's almost like, the Chinese New Year with all the firecrackers and everything else going on. That's pretty dang cool.
And to bring up the Chinese New Year, this is now the year of the water snake. This is going to be a very powerful year. Even the water dragon that we just left was very powerful, but this snake energy is just as powerful, and I think it's synced up with Jupiter in such a great way. I really think Jupiter here in the next 4 months is going to bring us a lot of big new changes in our environment, because really Gemini is the close environment of our life. It's our neighbor, it's our brother, it's our sister, it's the reason why Gemini is so smart, is because it picks up on the close environment so well. So our immediate surroundings are really going to be going through a lot of changes.
Well, and it's also got a lot of defending the realm kind of energy. The snake energy is transformative. The snake is always crawling out of its own skin. And snake energy in general is very much to be associated with the Scorpio energy astrologically. So boundaries, the idea of community, protecting the community, sustaining and supporting it. Scorpio people are generally the ones who rush to our aid when we least anticipate having to have somebody run to our aid. They show up in those dire moments for us. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. I mean, we get to start this, coming into this weekend. We have a big new moon in Aquarius. I'm really excited about it, especially because there's so many conjunctions happening in Pisces with, Mercury and Neptune and Mars. So the universe is going to have a conjunction party this weekend. There's a lot of honed in energy.
It absolutely is. And, as we start to advance toward that new moon in Aquarius, we will be entering into the dark of the moon on the evening of the 8th,
Yes.
Friday the 8th. And so that's really not a good time to initiate anything at all. The dark of the moon is a period of disintegration. And we just have to chill out and focus ourselves. And then a little bit after midnight, Sunday morning, if I remember correctly, at Mountain Standard Time, like 12:40 or something, the moon will move into that position of renewing itself. And
Yes.
as it does so, in Aquarius, which is not generally moon-friendly, it's going to be a tremendously impactful new moon. So if you're putting out vibrations around or thoughts around getting even, doing something dirty, not having clean underwear at school, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to get dark. So make sure that you are focusing on bringing as much light through as you possibly can. And also look to that positive shift with Mercury and Mars having crossed over Neptune and now bringing those messages through for us. So very big weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot about the future. I mean, Aquarius really is the future, and you're completely right about Aquarius moons, right? Those Aquarius moons, they can detach from emotion very well, and this gives us the ability to really leave behind a lot of the past and really look forward and ahead and really be excited for our future. And I think you bring up a great point about Mars and Mercury that have just passed Neptune. This will also be at the moment when Mercury passes Mars. So this is where Mercury's now lightning bolting ahead. Our minds are really progressing forward in the future, and this is giving us a lot of the mental energy and the future energy to really push forward in our lives in a new way and really step into the future. So I think this weekend is the electrifying weekend that just, we really are on a new path. We understand where we want to go, and we can disconnect from the past. We can disconnect even a little bit from the present. You know, sometimes with Aquarius, it's like very forward thinking, very electric energy. And this is where the past can kind of bite you in the butt if you're willing to still hold on to it. And I think you made the best point about the dark. You know, one thing is this exact new moon is going to square Scorpio, which it's going to square the point of where the solar eclipse was this fall. That was in November. So this is going to be an interesting new moon where we still can't, you know, let go of the deep inner changes that are happening inside ourselves, which are dark parts of ourselves. We do really have to learn to disconnect from this and still face them at the same time.
Absolutely, yes. And from the tarot cards, the main energy around this Friday, Saturday, Sunday event is the Hermit.
Wow.
And, of course, that number one is going within, withdrawing from the world that you normally inhabit long enough to retrieve insight, inspiration, make that connection with higher consciousness. And then you have to show up on the mountaintop like this guy here with the lantern. You need to put that energy out there, share it. And that doesn't mean running up to people and trying to convert them to your belief system, but it does mean keeping a centered and focused intention on I am the light and I'm here to share it. Wow. And I think that'll get you through that weekend really well.
Yeah, and then, you know, what's interesting is right after we come out of that weekend, and I think it's so interesting, the Hermit card, that's actually one of my favorite cards. A lot of people look at that card the wrong way. That card really is exactly what you say, is bringing the light, and it really is about really understanding what the light is and bringing it, you know? It really does give us a lot of intelligence, a lot of like elder energy as well, of really honing in on the energy and understanding how to use it. And we go in then to the moon moving into Pisces after this new moon, and it's going to hit all the bumps. It's going to hit Neptune. It's going to hit Mars at the beginning of the week. It's going to hit Mercury. So we're really going to come out of this new moon with even more energy than we usually get after new moons. It's going to feel like, wow, there's a lot of traction. So coming into the week of the 11th and the 12th, I mean, we are really going to go into some magic waters. We're going to really step into some very high vibration, you know, Neptune energy. And some people, it can become very lost. They can get very lost. But I like this energy. I deal really well with the Pisces vibe. So I can get lost and totally enjoy it. But this is where our dreams are really going to lead the way. This is where our daydreams are just as important.
Well, and also as the moon is moving through Pisces, especially, you know, toward the latter stages there, it's going to infuse a new sense of desire to communicate, because as it's in that passage through Pisces, it'll be lighting up Neptune, Mars, Mercury, Chiron, and those will all be in trine to Saturn in Scorpio, which is almost divine, because we're going to learn from our actions immediately, Saturn being the great teacher. And it's going to be sextile, and that's my favorite angle, when it's sextiling that magnificent presence of Pluto and Capricorn, grounding stuff. This could be one of the most profound weeks of a person's life if you acknowledge that and go with that energy.
And the one there's, and you know, you bring up the best point, because that Pluto and Saturn sextile between themselves, bringing that energy to Pisces, really bring us a new grounded, solid foundation to move forward into the universe. I mean, this is really the universe supporting us, going with the flow, learning how to really tap into our higher self. The interesting thing is all of this energy is starting to really square Jupiter, which is where a lot of our big energy is in our mind. But this is really telling us that we have to let go of our mind. We have to really let our mind work for our soul, let our mind work for the flow of the universe. So the one trip up can be definitely if people are going way too far with their attitude and not using their mind to work for spirit. I think that can be the one bump of this whole thing, but everything else shows this is the most amazing week ever, really, to ride the wave and take this energy wherever you want to go in your life. But if your mind's in the way, that can really step into, some difficulties.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that Jupiter always presents us with is the idea of discernment. And so as the moon squares Jupiter from Pisces to Gemini, we have the Ace of Swords that comes up.
Ooh.
And this is cutting ourselves free from old patterns, old prejudices, old concepts of what the world consists of. So it is going to be an internal process as well as an external process. Sunday is going to see this energy grow. As we move into Monday, we have kind of a clearing where we become more lucid. Tuesday, of course, is Fat Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So, everybody's going to be celebrating beyond belief.
Yeah.
Wednesday, as the moon moves into Aries very appropriately and nails Uranus, we have Ash Wednesday. So we, inhabit our little world with sackcloth and ashes. Mm. And then as it trundles forward, by the end of next week, we will begin to see that emergence into Taurus. And that's the fertility cycle, people. You really want to recognize when that moon moves into Taurus, it will be in sextile to everything in Pisces. And that is a period to plant seeds and to nurture and to prepare to give birth. So
and that's a powerful, that moon in Taurus is going to be very powerful near the end of the week because it's going to join the sextile party in Pisces, and then it's going to make a trine to Pluto. So Pluto is going to influence that moon a lot while it's sextiling a lot of our energy, bringing more stability than we could ask for with spirit. One thing about Pisces is if it's not properly supported in a situation like this, we can kind of get a little lost and our dreams cannot become reality. But what I see this as is, especially by the end of that week, really with all the Taurus energy, is the universe is supporting Pisces with complete structure and balance and control, and making sure that spirit and a lot of the metaphysical energy can become reality when it's got those pillars of support. I look at Saturn and Pluto as these two strong pillars, and then if you add in another third pillar, you really get some more support than you could ask for. So it's about you not letting your mind say this week that your dream can't come true. The reality is it definitely can.
Oh, absolutely, David. And for the cards, once again, this whole theme, the overall theme, is stepping out of karma. And you have to realize that the only way karma works is if you are walking around with guilt, because guilt is the attaching element. So if you're having bad karma, you need to clear your mind of guilt, forgive yourself, forgive others, and start to initiate a new journey in the direction of being free of those burdens of being angry with others and guilty about the things that you have done. So it is a big, big karmic epiphany and breakthrough, because whenever you're dealing with Pisces, even peripherally, it's always taking you back to your spiritual identity. Am I a human being suffering on the earth, dealing with all this crap, or am I a spiritual being with a body, which is kind of like an automobile, and am I banging into other people here, or am I, in fact, learning how to drive in proper lane at proper speed? So big, big awakenings on those levels if you seek those insights and those ideas.
That was beautifully said, Chris. Honestly, that was really beautifully said. That's exactly where we're at now. This is the time more than ever. I mean, we're past December 21st, 2012. And I think there's more proof of it in the astrology and your tarot readings that shows that this is the time. This is the start of the new age, and spirit is supported. So this is the time where if you've always felt maybe spirit has let you down, spirit has not been an easy thing to access. It takes work. It takes discipline, and the discipline is what is paying off now for those who have really spent the time to really hone in on how to tune in deep into their spirit. And this is where it really pays off. This is where, the master's degrees pay off, as far as who has put in their spiritual work and who is ready to step into this new age and make the most and make their dreams become reality, make their higher selves from other dimensions come down here and create the most amazing reality they could ever ask for.
Yes, and without attachment, realizing that today is today and tomorrow is going to be an entirely clean slate. So don't attach yourselves to what you think the world has to be. Attach yourself to the fact that you are flowing with the universe, and wherever that flow directs you, you're going to have a great time. You're going to dance with the mood of the music.
I like it. Well, thanks so much. You know what? This was a great show, Chris.
Absolutely. I think it was fantastic. I'm going to mention real fast here that one of the things I'm watching, David, is your generation. All you guys with Pluto in Scorpio. I am having so much fun with you kids, because the previous couple of generations were kind of like air balloons that didn't go up. And I'm seeing a lot of kids between 20 and 28 and 30 right now who are really starting to launch in a big, big way. And I ascribe that to the fact that Pluto was very, very happy as it moved through Scorpio, and it enhanced your generation and gave you an entirely new vision. You're looking at tech in a whole different way than previous generations. You're looking at social interaction in a whole different way. And I'm having a grand time. I have been interviewing musicians, oddly enough, all Sagittarians, who are, of that same generation that you are. And you people are definitely invested in your music and learning how to dance with the process of life.
Yeah, that was an interesting time. I mean, for me, it's interesting. I have Pluto Libra 29 degrees, so I'm on the cusp. I was at that last moment of the Libran. So I'm kind of a secret agent. I totally got that Pluto Scorpio, but I also have that Libran, really intelligent, I really want to restore balance and harmony on the planet. So I'm a cusper. So it's an interesting thing. I kind of got that elder of the Pluto Scorpios kind of energy, where I really want to be a leader. And you're completely right, especially with the tech stuff that you talk about. That was also at the time when Uranus went through Sagittarius, was at that period. And so there is a lot of really amazing energy with tech, which I look at tech as Uranus energy. And in that Sagittarius fire of all expanding, it never stops. And if you notice any of the charts of people who started Facebook, or all the Google people, or all the people who've started these amazing tech companies, they all have Uranus and Sagittarius. And
it's going to get even more exciting as we see more and more of these kids come online and express themselves, because they have the vehicle to do it with.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Chris. I can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic week, and I'm sure everybody is going to have their stories of achievement and defeat, because we do live in a dualistic universe. It's going to happen both ways.
Yep.
So, David, you get out there, rock and roll. Love you, kiddo.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, the rest of you people, stay happy. That's the only obligation you have.
All right. Talk to you soon, Chris.
Great.